welcome back for another adventure. So what I'll be doing this time around is pack rafting the Swan Lake Canoe Route, and my intent is to go up from the east entrance of the Swan Lake route and then move down and portage several lakes until I make it to the Moose River, and then I'm going to take the Moose River all the way back to Sterling, and there should have been a nice little graphic entailing that. Anyways, I'm out here for an overnight. I suspect it's going to take me approximately 2 days, maybe 2 really long days, we'll see. The east route is a little bit shorter than the west route, so I may be able to knock some time off, but my intent is to fish along the way, just have a really nice time. Apparently there's quite a bit of wildlife out right now. I saw a bear, actually I saw 2 black bear on the way in, so I'm looking forward to that. And then it's called the Moose River for a reason, so there's got to be some moose. But at a minimum, if I don't see some wildlife, then at least I'll have some beautiful sights along the way. And then hopefully, you can see it right here, a little bit of decent fishing. Allegedly the trout and all that bite pretty well through here, so I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. All right, talk to you later. So I don't have a mount or anything, so I'm kind of having to rig up and improvise with it. So I hope you guys can see me. But anyways, I'm crossing the first lake right now. I believe this is Portage Lake. And then I'm gonna have to go across, it's like 6 or 7 different lakes before I get to the Moose River. So you'll see it here in a little bit, but I'll essentially take the raft and pick it up and hold it over my head. And then I'm gonna walk to the next lake. And from what I understand, none of them are more than like a half mile. And fortunately, these pack rafts that I'm in are pretty light, so it shouldn't be too onerous to do. I imagine this would be a lot more challenging in something heavy like a canoe or a kayak, a little bit more unwieldy. But the pack raft, being that it's all of 7 pounds, should be manageable. And just like that, it looks like I am already to the first portage. You can see it right there, a little hiking trail coming into view. So I'm gonna throw this raft up over my head and get to walking. I don't know if it's being picked up on the camera, but these bugs are awful. I've got my rain gear on right now to keep them out, and so I have to put as little DEET as possible on my face and my hands and neck. It's funny, they've already started getting me on the hand. I don't know if you can see that, but just from the water rinsing away the DEET, just in that little spot, they started attacking me. I had heard that they were bad out here, and I absolutely believe it. Just a lot of lowland, wet areas that they can really just propagate in. Woo! All right, well that was an easy one. Already starting to come up to the next portage area. Trying to paddle one-handed, so apologies if it looks ugly on the camera. And you can tell it's the next portage site because of this nifty trail marker right here. So the AT has blazes and this has canoes. All right, I'm gonna throw the sucker on my head again. This one's a little bit longer walk than the other one was, but that's all good. It's beautiful walking through all these spruces, or the spruce rather, all the birch. Very pretty. And that is the end of Birch Lake. I think that's the second biggest lake that I'm going to go across. I believe there's a total of 4. I know the next one that I've got 2 more, and then I'll hit the biggest lake, which is Swan Lake. And then I've got a hot tip I'm going to show you guys here in a second about these wonderful alpaca rafts. Hello, I'm back here to give you that hot tip that I promised earlier. Now, this is the Alpaca Mule. So it was made by Alpaca Raft. It was meant to be their foray into the outdoor experience, specifically with hunting and fishing. So these are a little bit burlier than your standard whitewater pack raft. And what's really neat about these guys is that your storage compartment is actually inside the raft. So they've built this wonderful T-zip system here. And then you unzip this. Obviously the boat's going to deflate when you do that because you have a giant hole in there, but you stuff your gear in there. Now, this works exceptionally well if you make sure that you have all the equipment that you need before you zip it up in there. Now, I bet you can guess what I didn't do. And yeah, that's right. I didn't take my sunscreen out. So I'm about to deflate this sucker and get my sunscreen out and then have to blow it back up. Got it. This is Mallard Lake, which had an extremely long portage to get here. But finally made it. It is beautiful. I was hoping to fish this one, but this is one of those lakes that doesn't have fish in it. There's about 4 or 5 of those. Unfortunately, most of the ones that I'm going through today. I've got one more lake until I get to Swan Lake. And then Swan Lake, I'll go across that, and that actually has fish in it. So I'm going to spend some time trying to fish that, see if I can't hook up on anything. And then once I'm done with that, I will exit Swan Lake because there's an outlet stream that'll take you to the Moose River. And then I'll get on the Moose River and then I'll start floating that back towards Sterling, which is the town that I got my shuttle out of this morning. And that's where my car is staged at. It should be pretty cool. I plan on just fishing my entire way down. I don't know how long the Moose River is going to take me. I'm moving a little faster than I thought I was going to when I initially planned this out, but I'm not upset about that. But yeah, I'm going to get back to paddling so I can get to this next portage and stop feeding these mosquitoes. Here we are, Swan Lake. This sucker is massive. It'll probably take me 45 minutes to an hour to get to where I need to go. And I believe it is somewhere back over here across the lake, but I'm gonna take some time out here and fish and try to take advantage of being further out on the lake because the mosquitoes won't be there and they've been bugging me quite a bit. Haha. And I'll be able to get to the Moose River and start floating, which will be really nice because then I can just take my foot off the gas and let the river float me down a little ways. Even though I know it's a little slow, it'll still be helpful. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get a fish out of these lily pads. I'm pretty sure I saw one jump earlier. Let's cast a couple times to see what we can get. We got a nice one on. Oh, wow. We're gonna have to work the drag with this sucker. Oh, it's coming up to jump. He's gonna run. Come on, buddy. He's gonna try to jump again. Oh yeah, look at that. Woo! This is a nice fish. This is a really nice fish. Hope I got this. Oh yeah. You got some power. You got some power, buddy. Let's see if we can land him. He's getting tired. Oh wow. This is a tank. Come on. Oh, he's foul hooked. Oh my gosh, look at that sucker. All right, let's get him off. That was a really nice trout. Let's see if we can get another one like that. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty good fishing today. Let's see what we got here. All right, here he is. Let's get him back in there. Alright, had some good fishing time. Now back on the road. Had two really nice trout. Man, that first one was a beast. Now I'm gonna head to the outlet of Swan Lake, and if I happen to find another decent fishing spot, I'll hit that up for a little bit. And then it's a portage onto the Moose River and then begin the float down to Sterling. Oh, see fish jumping straight ahead. Let's hope we can get into them. All right, we got some lily pads all through here. Those worked very well for us at the last location. Let's see if we can't get them to work again. Well, the lily pads let us down. I'm gonna move on, see if we can't find something else. And that is the end of Swan Lake. And that is the end of the lake portion of this trail. I ended up coming from over here and just made my way right over to the Portage site. Here very shortly I'm going to walk down this Portage Trail right here that somebody's done, and this is actually done up quite nicely. Someone has done some boards here. I imagine this was a federal project or an Eagle Scout project, but one thing I wanted to show you before I get going is Swan Lake was the site of the beginning of a pretty massive wildfire. It was called the Swan Lake Fire, and it burned thousands of acres, and you can see the remains here of all these charred trees, and this just goes for miles and miles and miles all the way back to Cooper Landing, which is almost an hour or 2 hour drive from here. It was pretty scary. We were down here in 2019 just checking out an area for fishing, and the visibility was like 100 yards. The smoke was so thick, but it's all good. It's nature's reset button, and you can see a lot of the forage and the browse has come back pretty quickly. A lot of the undergrowth, which is really good for the moose, so expect to see the moose population really start to blow up here in the next couple of years. But anyways, I am going to get everything packed up and get on this trail and get on the Moose River. Okay, made it to the beginning of the Moose River. Flowing a little slow, but that's okay. That's less I have to paddle. And my gosh, I was dealing with probably the most mosquitoes I have ever dealt with before. Just clouds of them, man. I'm gonna blow from DEET tonight. All right, onto the river we go. Alright, pull over for a quick pit stop, a mandatory pit stop, because there's a tree that is all the way across. This is the third one I've dealt with so far. Last two were a little bit more spicy than this because I could get over them without having to get totally out, just like I did here, which I think was a little bit more sketchy because then I'm like standing with half my foot on the raft, half the foot on the log, and like at any second could slip in. So this is probably better that it forced me to get out and also get up and see the beautiful area. I've been down in the water or down in that river, and you can't really see once you're down in there. Really all you can see is these reeds, and I did see a moose when I was rounding one of the turns. I saw a big hairy brown back. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. And it turned out to be a moose. I thought it was either a moose or a caribou. I didn't think it was a brown bear, but it was interesting. She looked at me and then continued on her way, which is fortunate for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and move this sucker through here and back into the river and continue on. I think if I really push it tonight, like to like 2-3 in the morning, I might be able to finish same day. We'll see how I'm feeling, or if I see a really nice campsite I might stop. All right, time for more bug repellent. Hello, hello. So I'm still making my way down the Moose River. Had a beautiful sunset, well, still having a beautiful sunset. Tomorrow is the longest day, I guess you want to call it longest day of the year, the most sunlight that we'll have up here. It is the summer solstice and the official beginning of summer, which is exciting because it's really getting going, but it's also a little bittersweet because that means we're going to start losing daylight. And up here in Alaska, we lose a lot of daylight. But that's okay, it's going to be sunny for a long time, or at least we'll have a lot of daylight for a long time. Probably have about another hour, maybe even 2 hours left on this float. I'm starting to get close to the motorized section. I can actually hear some of the jet boats moving up and down the river a couple miles down. It's starting to pick up a little bit better than it was up higher. There was way less current when I first put in, and now I'm starting to get a pretty steady current and the stream is a lot wider. Rather, the river is a lot wider. And things do seem like they're moving just a little bit smoother. The only challenge is when I get those logs that are laid all the way across the river, and I have to get out of the boat, drag the boat up on shore, and then go around it. So that is cumbersome, but I'm extremely thankful for the pack raft because I could not imagine doing that with a canoe. I had a coworker that was out here with Boy Scouts last week, and they had, I think it was 5 canoes, and I don't know how they did it. I know they took a long time, but even then. And speaking of a log that's blocking the stream, I think I may have one right here, so I'll talk to you later. Yep, that is exactly what I was talking about. Blocked all the way across. Well, I'm going to put the pack raft right there and then drag it up and over. Here we go. There's the blockage. And here goes the raft. Okay. Now I get in. Exciting new development. Seeing rocks in the river now. Hitting rocks in the river now. Woo! Yeah, it's been nothing but wood and trees and such. You see anything jumping out there? Those are baby salmon. Let me see if I can't move over so you can see them. But there's baby salmon in here and they're just jumping like crazy, eating all these little midges flying around. Really cool. Hard to see on the GoPro, but they're there, I promise. For those that are curious, this is what midnight in Alaska looks like near the solstice. You can see just fine. Getting close to Sterling, you can see signs of civilization. We got power lines right here. Not too much more to go, and we'll be done with this part of the trip. Let's go! Well, as crazy as it sounds to say, reaching the end here. This has been a heck of an adventure. I wanted to talk to you guys before I get underneath the Sterling Highway Bridge just because it's loud, and I'll show you a little bit of video, but I didn't want to be trying to talk over highway noise after such a serene trip. But this has been amazing. So glad I did this. This has been on my list of Alaska items since 2014. And 10 years later, I've finally checked it off. And it feels good to have it done. Well, I guess I haven't finally checked it off because I haven't rafted from the Moose to the Kenai River where the confluence is. But that's going to be happening in like a quarter mile. So apologies, I'm very tired. Total animal count, 6 moose. I see one right now across the way. It's eating down in the grass down by the river. There's no way it'll get picked up on the GoPro, so I'm not going to try. You'll just have to trust me. So 6 moose, probably 4 or 5 beaver, and oh my gosh, so many birds. No bear though, which I'm actually okay with. I was very thankful that we didn't surprise any bear. But my plan is to go up here to where the Moose River and the Kenai River have their confluence. And right there, there is the, I believe it's the Isaac Walton or Isaac Wilton State Park. I'm gonna see if I can get a spot there. If I can't get a spot there, I'm just going to stealth camp because I don't feel like walking the 2 miles back to my car tonight from where I left it when I left this morning on the shuttle. But that's all I have for now. I'll show you the very end. That way we get some closure and shut this thing out like it's supposed to be. Talk to you soon. Alright guys, this is it. This is the end. This is the very end of the Moose River. You can't tell, but it's linking up with the Kenai. I might walk down here tomorrow and show you, but that's it for this adventure. Thanks for coming along. I'm gonna go find a place to sleep. See ya. Hey guys, so I ended up not getting some video the next day, but I have this wonderful video from a trip my sister and I did down the Kenai River that shows the exact area where the Kenai intersects with the Moose River. So I just wanted to make sure that you were able to see this to close out the journey. I wanted to thank you very much for following along, and I'll hopefully have another video released soon. Thanks so much.